All right, guys, how much was my friend Katt's rental property in Santa Ana, Costa Rica? A lot of you guys made guesses. I didn't tell you in that video. I didn't tell you. I'm going to tell you now, though. Well, not now, in a minute. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I will put a link to a video I made a little bit, maybe let's say a week ago, where I walked through a house in Santa Ana, a big house, and I had you guess how much the rent was. All right? We're going to get to that. So if you don't want to know, go back to that video, watch it, come back to this one and find how much, if you were right or not. We're going to get to that in a minute, guys. I'm Michael on for travelcostarica.com. If you haven't subscribed, please do. I'd appreciate it. Yeah, relocation retreat. If you're interested in relocation, all the information is in the link in the description. I'd love to see you there. So got a couple little announcements before we get to the price. Guys, I'm in Maine. Look at it. Can you see the pine trees? The leaves are starting to change. There's better places where they're changing, but I'm at my mom's house. My brothers are here. My son made a surprise appearance. So this is all good, having fun, but I'm taking a little time out, do a little video. But man, I love Maine. I love Maine. I'm going to talk a little bit about this at the end of this video too, so you can stay tuned for that as well. I do want to say something. I also made a video here, kind of an emergency video about the dock workers strike with our import-export guy, Pablo, the guy that ships your container to Costa Rica if you want to live here, and your car and all that stuff. And yes, they resolved it for now. I guess they got about 90 days. I guess they increased the pay by 62%. They didn't talk about the automation. That's going to be a problem. The United States got to get into the automation. Sorry, it's going to happen. Change is happening. Going to either have to educate the longshoresmen, give them a way to get other jobs or help them or whatever you're going to do. But automation is coming, my friends. So we'll see what happens in about 90 days. But that did get resolved. But I want to give a shout out to Pablo because he was trying to be ahead of this so he could let you guys know, so you guys can make good decisions. And I really appreciate his honesty, man. That's why I use him. So if you are thinking about shipping your cars and motorcycles and boats and household goods because you want to live in Costa Rica, he's your guy, man. If you want to get a hold of him, write me at info@travelcostarica.com and I'll get you a hold of Pablo. So shout out to Pablo. All right, before I tell you the price, because I think this is important, I want to tell you some considerations that my friend Katt made, her and her mother made on picking that rental property that I walked through whenever it was, 5 days ago, I'm not sure. So you can see what they were thinking, okay? Now, Santa Ana, one, she's very close to all medical, hospitals, the whole 9 yards, okay? She's in a very, very nice section. Santa Ana's a nice section, so it tends to be high-end, and they wanted that because they wanted the security, they wanted the privacy, but they also wanted to be around other gringos. There's a lot of gringos in Santa Ana. They wanted to be around other expats, but there are also a lot of ticos there. So a nice mix, combination. So they wanted to be around that. They also like the fact that Santa Ana's got some familiar places. You're going to see an Olive Garden. You might see a P.F. Chang's. Me personally, not into that, but I understand coming down here and, first, maybe you want to kind of ease into Costa Rica. Maybe you want to surround yourself with maybe a little bit more familiarity. So I totally understand that. So she's really close to town. So her proximity to everything was outstanding. And again, security, privacy, the whole thing in a, I don't want to say ritzy neighborhood, but a nice neighborhood, which Santa Ana tends to have a lot of those. She also liked the idea that she lived right next to the landlord. And maybe you guys don't understand that, but that is kind of big. She's got a problem. The landlord is right there. So that's kind of nice. So she also knew that this was going to be temporary. They actually want to build here. So this was temporary. It's going to be temporary anyway. So it wasn't like, she's going to live here, for the next 5 years and rent this place. And the other thing was, her mom flies back and forth. She leaves too. And they also wanted to be close to the airport. I took Uber to the airport, 25 minutes away, which is nice. Fortuna's 3 hours, 2.5. So that's also nice. So those are some of the considerations that you might also want to consider because they are important. So it's not just the house itself or the price itself. It's the other things, the things that you may not think about. And that's why I'm telling you that. Now I'm going to turn this camera off me so we can kind of enjoy the view while I get into how much. Check it out. My mom lives in a really nice place, I think. Look at this. Check this out. Beautimous. I'm gonna, again, hang out at the end of this movie. I got something to say about this weather. All right, so there was a lot of good guesses on that house rental, and they varied. There were some kind of pretty low. There were some pretty high. And I got to tell you, I have changed my mind about the price of the rental property. I had something in my head when I went through it that after reading your comments, I kind of have changed my thinking on this. All right, so here's the answer, guys. And some of you guys nailed it or got very, very close. So for a furnished place, which is what that's the price I was looking for, $2,800. $2,800 is what she pays monthly rent. Okay. Now, just real quick, she pays $50 for electricity, $65 internet, and $10 water. Not too much. That's almost close to what I pay in Fortuna. So $2,800 furnished, $2,600 unfurnished. Now, here's my opinion. When I first heard $2,800, I was like, man, I don't know, man, that's kind of high. Seems a little gringo pricey to me. But after reading your guys' comments and thinking about this a little further, where she's at, all those kind of things I just went over, very important things, by the way, I kind of got it. Maybe she could have got it a little cheaper, but not that much, not that much. So some of you guys might be going, oh my God, that's too much. And other guys, a lot of you others are like, yeah, that sounds about right for that area. So I appreciate all you guys giving your guesses. A lot of you guys had great opinions or why you thought the cost was the cost. I totally understand the low costs because a lot of times you can find deals and you might have thought, hey, maybe he's putting up something to show you that you could, I don't know, live cheaper or something, or it's not what you thought. But thanks for the guesses. And I understand all of them. I understand the highs and I understand the lows. But 2,800, I actually, on rethinking, pretty close. Maybe they could have shaved a few $100s off that rent. I'm not sure. So anyway, that's thank you guys for doing that. It was fun. I actually learned a lot from your guys' perspective and opinions on that. So anyway, thank you. So what I wanted to say about here, so I'm in Maine, right? I totally see now why people from, let's say, high elevation, colder climates, you know, or they're used to colder climates, maybe like you coming from Chicago, or, you know, you live up in on a mountain, or, you know, that kind of thing. Coming to Costa Rica, I can totally see why the humidity by itself is like, I ain't staying here. It's too hot. It's too sweaty. Because I'm sitting here, man, this weather feels like I'm in outside air conditioning, man. It is so nice and crisp. Now, in about a month, or maybe even a couple weeks, this is Maine, man. So I don't do snow and I don't do cold weather, but man, this perfect. It is freaking beautiful. I'm still wearing my white t-shirt. It just feels so fresh. You know, she doesn't live in the city, so she's out a little bit. And as you can see, I mean, check this out. But I totally understand why just the humidity alone, that tropical, you know, wetness of Costa Rica, people go, I'm not putting up with this. I'm going back to where there's maybe a little bit more of a cool breeze. So just wanted to give that opinion too, because I got to say, this has been a nice little distraction from my life in Costa Rica, this weather. It's just been I've only been here, I think, 3 days or whatever, but it's been just lovely. Anyway, guys, thanks for playing. I got to get back with the family, man. I got to get back with the family. Can't believe my son flew in. Big surprise on that. So anyway, guys, have fun. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Buy me a coffee, man. It's a little crispy. It's perfect. It's perfect coffee weather. All right, man, my videos are going to pop up, thinking about living or traveling anywhere. Always do your homework and research. And if it's Costa Rica or Maine, no, Costa Rica, I'm going to put my videos up against anybody's. For real. Nobody talks to you the way I do. Thanks.